Mothers are usually one of the most wonderful people in the world. After seeing Gary Vee's IG post of being every version of yourself is the only way to live, I'm even more sure and confident that I want to do this video. Well, certified by my mom that she's always saying
他很乖
meaning good boy. But her favorite line to me was
气死了
fatal anger. So while I may be a mommy boy, it may not be the one in your context and definition of it. First thing first, thanks to my mom, my first sponsor for these skincare products. And saying that my skin was rough in the previous video, now I'm contemplating whether I should invest in a 4K webcam. Maybe I should get a HD one to be safer from her nagging. But then I was like, am I gonna be a model? Well, I'm just a messenger of the things that I learned over my lifetime. What do I have to show? What I do have is a particular set of skills that I acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a force to be reckoned with. So wish me good luck. Ever since I launched my YouTube channel, my mom has been my #1 supporter, fan, personal stylist and more. So she was complaining that I must look presentable in my videos. In recent years, I was following an internet marketer on YouTube. Now he is a very charismatic, quick-witted and world-class speaker, author, coach, entrepreneur. But he started out very badly. He was even punished with jumping jacks because of his presentation skills. Somehow his trainer got bored of him and made him do that. But for his privacy and copyright reason, I won't be posting his video here. If you want, you can check out on the link below where I found part of his video. Looking back, I didn't have a very bad moment in my presentation. With that, I actually tried to do a unstylish, unpolished, or unrefined video that I started like this to motivate others. If I can do this at this stage, I don't see a problem for you. And if you think that you're more handsome than me, then I'm sure we won't have any problems. If you think that you're uglier than me, I would say that the important thing is that your message. Another question that she asked me was, how come I'm wearing the same t-shirt again? So in my mind, I was finding it hard to explain to her about Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. So I just tell her it's my uniform. But I can share with you. Number one, it's a productivity choice to reduce decision fatigue. Number two, is for branding and consistency. Number three, is actually NLP anchoring. By wearing a certain apparels, it will put you into a certain state. If you don't believe me, well, you can try wearing a clown suit and look yourself in the mirror, and then after that you wear a business suits and look yourself in the mirror, and will you feel the difference? Well, maybe that's not a very good idea. After watching the movie Free Guy, I can't help but think of the people in my background. The people that we may have taken for granted for a very long period. And somehow they are always there for you. Always nurturing, protecting, caring, and even cleaning. So it was as though that her life purpose was to live for me and my brother. Since young, I have a very pragmatic view or even extreme views of life. I see very far, I work very hard, and I play very hard. Even at the age of 10, I am already quite a rebellious kid. I will go out and play after school without even going home. So that was 30 years back when handphone wasn't even invented. One day I was playing in one of the blocks nearby. So there she was sitting, and somehow, well, she got even better skill than me. She looked for me, she found me, she brought me home, and I don't know what skill she had. Maybe there was a whistleblower or informer. And not to mention that my school was actually about 45 minutes away from my house, taking public transport. Growing up in a humble family, somehow I was quite matured. I didn't ask for a lot of toys. This was my first Lego, and I was very happy with it for years. And those years are without computer or video games. So at least I get to go out to friend's house and play. My friend got this, and then after that my brother got this. So, well, when others are playing Sega or Super Nintendo, I didn't have those. I grew up with a Nintendo 30 years plus ago. And much later, of course, I got my PlayStation 1, and then after that, PlayStation 2. But PlayStation 2 was the last console that I had. I'm a game addict, so I refused to buy it so that it helped me to focus on other things. In between the Nintendo and the PS1 was an era that I was extremely proud of. If there was a time that I want to go back to myself, that would be the time. When my friends are playing Sega or Super Nintendo or Warsong, Final Fantasy 3 or 4, or Diablo 1 or Magic the Gathering cards, I was creating my own turn-based RPG on paper. I even draw my own grids and color the terrains. I have characters, items, weapons, armors, pets, mouse, skills, transformations, soldiers, ships, villains, chants, other kingdoms, and so much more. All based on whatever I saw and played before. When others are playing Captain Tsubasa or FIFA 94 on Sega or the Super Nintendo, or even the Sabuto, I also created my own turn-based soccer game and an action one. Being a game addict, I would say that it is the most value for money entertainment any kid can have. But the disadvantage of all this is that I didn't have a good relationship with money growing up. I do not need a lot, I don't have a lot, and I also don't have the desire to pursue more. So in a way, I become a minimalist. I was very happy creating my own stuff. And I was even happily working at McDonald's for $3.50 per hour. And it was close by to my house. I can just walk there and work and then just walk home. At that time, for me, I think I don't need that money, and then I want to have more time for myself. So going to town to work is not what I wanted. And after that, I just signed on as a regular. Well, iron rice bowl, just that it comes with a rusty taste. So, for more stories on money, my story about money, well, that's another YouTube video. But I'm sure you can see that growing up, I helped my mom to save a lot. Even up to today, my mom would struggle with what to cook for me, because my answer to her was anything. I'm an eat to live person, so what I eat is the thoughts and the effort behind the dish. And just like the first time that your girlfriend cooks for you, if it's edible, although it tastes bad, I believe you also definitely finish it. And habitually, I'll finish every grain of rice on my plate. Maybe I should do a mukbang soon. Years ago, my colleague was so fascinated that he even started throwing rice onto my empty plate. Well, those are the years that we can't go back to. But you can call it an OCD, or maybe because my mom conned me that I have a pretty wife by finishing my plate clean when I was a boy. Next, my mom always asks me why don't I go out and make more friends or keep in touch with them. I simply replied, I don't need that many friends. A few good ones for life will do. And I never told the reason behind. But today I share it with you. Somehow, begin with the end in mind, started off very young in me. To me, life is short, and that I take my time very seriously, and I also respect others people's time. Everyone will prioritize their time and maybe even be greedy with it, especially with their families. So not many people will share the same path, and it could be their own children by their sides in their final years when all their friends are gone. And not forgetting the 80-20 rule is that we are always keep in touch with 20% of our friends 80% of the time, mostly. Somehow this reminds me of a movie, Three Idiots. It is a movie from 2009 and it's a Bollywood movie, but it was my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite, because in the movie a lot of norms and assumptions are being challenged and lots of innovations and crazy ideas for an inquisitive mind. But most importantly, it is also about life and friendship. Like the main character, I would be perfectly fine doing my own things without coming across any of my friends for years again. So do watch it if you haven't come across it. You open your mind and have a good laugh. Well, there's a teaser that I'm showing you now. Enjoy. Lastly, why I accepted my mom's sponsorship. There was a time when my friend committed suicide due to mental reasons. And at his funeral, his mom was crying. One particular phrase caught my attention. My baby was gone. It made me realize that no matter how old we get, we could always be the baby in their arm. And if I can choose when I die, it will definitely be after her. Ultimately, this body is created in her, so it belongs to her rightfully. And the fact that I have been abusing it for years, playing soccer, working under the hot sun for long hours in our tropical climate, sleeping on an average of less than 4 hours or 4 hours for years. I even told her that if a human age is calculated based on how many hours we are awake, I could be just as old as her. For those interested in skincare, I'm sure that you know the sun and lack of sleep is very bad for the skin and maybe health too. And last tip from the saleswoman was that I need to put on sunblock even indoors because of the lightings. And I was like rolling my eyes already because all this is the result of Under the Sun. But in my teens, that is something that I wouldn't trade for anything else. So it's a great tip for moms who want their kids to grow up with good skin, to be an actor or actress or models. Don't let them be under the sun. Well, now I got no excuse of working under the sun anymore, so I better be a good boy. But I was like, how much time and effort I'm going to waste? Well, now the perks of being a YouTuber is that anything that I do, it can be put on video. So I got to show her that I use the product, else I'm gonna get nagged again. And most importantly, I have to give back to my mom for letting me abuse this body for years. I'm always in her debt and I will always try to pay her back. See you next time.